It was a quiet Saturday morning when I heard a knock at the door. The sun had barely risen, casting a soft glow over the beach cabin. I had just settled into my favorite chair with a cup of coffee, the perfect start to a peaceful weekend. But that peace was abruptly interrupted by a sound I knew all too well, the authoritative knock of Karen, the HOA president. I knew she was coming. For weeks, Karen had been making her usual rounds, poking her nose into everyone's business, telling us how to maintain our properties, and making sure we were adhering to her version of community standards. She'd gotten bolder over the years, but I wasn't about to let her ruin another weekend. I opened the door cautiously, and there she stood with a smug smile, holding her master key, a key she had access to through her position in the HOA. Before I could say a word, she started talking in her usual condescending tone. "I'm here for an inspection," Karen announced with a grin. "I need to make sure everything's up to code. I'm just doing my job." My blood began to boil. I knew her idea of an inspection wasn't about ensuring the property was safe, it was about asserting control over people's lives. But I wasn't in the mood to argue with her just yet. "I'm afraid that's not happening today," I said, my voice firm. "I don't need you barging in whenever you please. This is my property, and you need to respect that." Before she could respond, the sound of a door opening behind me made her freeze. My son, Caleb, a Marine, stepped into view, his posture straight and his eyes sharp. He was back from deployment for a visit, and he wasn't in the mood for anyone messing with his family. "What's going on here?" he asked, his voice low and commanding. Karen turned her gaze toward Caleb, clearly taken aback by his presence. "I'm just doing my duty as the HOA president," she stammered, holding up the master key like it was a badge of honor. Caleb's expression hardened. "You can't just use that key to barge into people's homes. It's not your house, and you don't get to walk in whenever you want. You're not welcome here." Karen sputtered, clearly flustered by the presence of a man in uniform. She didn't know how to respond to a Marine, let alone one who was fiercely protective of his family. After a long, uncomfortable silence, Karen backed off, muttering something under her breath as she turned to leave. I closed the door behind her, my heart pounding. Caleb's presence had been enough to make her back down. I was proud of him, and even prouder that he had reminded her exactly who was in charge around here.